Let me ask you something. When you buy a t-shirt for like €5, how much do you really value it? Not much, right? That's exactly what the industry wants. When I work in fast fashion, I saw how this mindset spiraled into something much bigger. From our wallets to our mental health to the environment. Today I want to share with you the stories that made me rethink my entire relationship with shopping. I worked at retail for a year and a half about that in Bershka and H&M. And what I saw completely changed the way I think about clothing. There are things that happen in these stores that you could never imagine, but you don't have to because I'm going to tell you. I think businesses have huge responsibilities and governments as well to educate and implement practices to help the consumers make smart choices and have options in certain way. I don't think all responsibility should fall in the consumer. I don't think that would be fair. I do, though, hold strong ethical values. So I believe we as individuals do play a role, but my mission isn't to guilt anyone because then I will also guilt myself, but to spark awareness and get us thinking differently. Because at the end of the day, caring, educating ourselves, and not settling for mediocrity is our responsibility. And in today's world where information is super accessible, there's really no excuse not to. Like a €5 earring set that costs nothing to the company if the item gets stolen or it's broken. But for us as individuals, it's still about money. It kind of shapes how we treat things because €5 is like, okay, depending on the country, 1 or 2 coffees here in Europe. So like if you pay €5 for earrings, maybe you value it in certain way. But for a company, it's really like nothing because they make billions out of us for really bad quality products. The thing is, for brands like Zara or Bershka or these all fall in Inditex, for example, and then you have H&M, which is like the mother of several other companies. But basically for these size companies that they make billions in revenue, they don't feel the loss. However, we have a different internalization. But because of how accessible and cheap their items are, we really can afford having a t-shirt for €5, less than €5 even, and we start treating those items like they don't matter because maybe you wear it for a month and it breaks. It was only €5, right? When I saw that people would step on those clothes, steal, like even myself, I've been like, okay, this only cost me like €3 top back in the day. I don't go on sales anymore. But so it doesn't matter anymore if it breaks because I can get a new one and my wallet won't be broken. That's reconsiderable. That mindset, we have to wonder twice, is this normal that we think like this? I had shocking situations that I want to share with you. So it might not be surprise for you, unfortunately, that stealing is very common in retail. So I've seen scenarios of people probably bringing scissors and then returning their items, and when we check them, the alarm is gone and there's like a big hole in the t-shirt or whatever item it is because they just around it, or the label's cut, and then I go clean in the paskamer where you change, and then I have to clean in there the hairs or whatever, the amount of labels that they just check, because nowadays the alarm in very, very cheap fast fashion stores like Bershka, H&M, Zara, blah blah blah, the alarm is in the paper tag. They just got it and then just put their stuff in the bag and they just leave. Missing earrings, missing rings, and that's happening like this, and the company keeps making billions. However, you are building a mindset of a criminal for a really bad quality t-shirt that contributes to a really disgusting supply chain and production behind it. Fine. I've seen a mother before closing time, 5 minutes before closing time, in the corner of the men's section, changing her teen girl pants down so that she could try real quick those pants when there were men still circling around. I've seen, again, in the past camera, in the where you change, I've seen there people returning me some pants, and then voila, surprise, surprise, instead of being white, they are red. And this happened maybe 3 times in the same day. I've seen this often happening, that girls just go there on their periods because they have to buy this one thing. They try the clothes and then they return me the jeans with stains. I'm sorry, but that's disgusting. I don't want to talk about the sweat. I understand that you want to go physically to the store to see how you fit the outfit, but it's disgusting. Like, don't go if you're bleeding your chichi out. Like, it's that simple. I'm sorry that I'm getting a bit agitated because this actually, like, this bothers me so much because maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because it's just me that I see this happening and I just cannot believe it, you know? Like, this actually happened to me and I'm like, bro, how can this happen? Like, what type of educated person would have the need of, I am bleeding out, I'm just gonna go there, or I'm gonna let my little girl change in the middle of the store 5:55 when we close at 6 p.m. I'm sorry, but like, there's something that the industry is doing to our minds that is not okay. Stealing is not okay. It says a lot about the person you are and the psychology and the mindset that you're building as a person. I don't know. Maybe I just have very strong values, but I'm not apologizing for it. I generally think everyone should build a stronger mindset and have values, because that's just, otherwise the world is not going to become a better place. And by all means, like, in all aspects of it. So yeah, like this possibility that we have, like, the items don't matter. So at this level, because it's so cheap, it doesn't matter. In this possibility thing, I've seen like people just stepping in the clothes, like, you know, like throwing them like this, or like, and you're in a store, like, I understand they are cheap materials, but there's also employees working there. Because you don't value these items, the way you dispose them is carelessly. And maybe for you, like, yeah, you are in that mindset, but I am the employer who has to pick up what you are making dirty, you know, like, or that thing will go to a country and lay there in nature outdoors because nobody wants it anymore. So yeah, think twice about, even though it's cheap, somebody already created it, just treat it right, because maybe it can be reused. Maybe you don't want it, but somebody else does, and that way it doesn't have to go to waste. Just saying, giving tips and tricks. The internal work culture that fast fashion cycles is fast, cheap, and replaceable. I had this experience with two managers at Bershka who were taking 2 hours break to go smoke and talk outside the door when we were seeing them doing nothing. Whereas whenever I had little to do on a rainy day, on a Tuesday, they would get so upset at us that we were just having conversation with each other from the team. They would get so upset at us, like, even though I had high sales, I made great profits for the store. It doesn't matter how good of an employer I was. They even gave me like really heavy tasks that were not part of my contract. I am a sales assistant. I assist on the sales. So I help people make the sales and yeah, restock and things like this. But hello, moving, ironing pieces in the stock room, heavy pieces where I can hurt myself, that should be done by Inditex employers who handle stock structures, not me. I was being asked to do these things, like, you cannot treat people like this. And they were always lacking stuff because nobody would want to work there. So this was when I first arrived to the Netherlands. I needed to find a job immediately to get to work and make some money. And because I don't speak Dutch, that was the only job that was available to me. That was not hospitality, because I worked in restaurants, but I really cannot handle that either. So I work in retail, and like, the job itself is okay, right? But everything that comes with it was not. Like, these that I just explained, the extra things that I had to do that were not part of my job were not okay. The micromanaging was not okay. So like, this really shows how employers are even treated as disposable. Not only the items, but also the people. And people is who makes everything. So like, they didn't care if I was fired. Somebody else who needs the job will come in. And if not, what happens if the small store in Arnhem closed? Nothing. Because Zara, Bershka, H&M, they will still make a lot of money. So it doesn't matter to them. Overproduction and constant rotation. Do you think it's normal that we have seasonal trends so often? New collection, new collection, new collection. It's not normal. It's not normal. Creating a constant chase for newness. That is creating a very toxic mindset. And it's really worrying if you think about it. Like, even employers couldn't resist to this. Like, when you work there, you are allowed to, you see what items are going to sale and by how much before that happens. So you can reserve pieces to buy later. The girls would save so much shit they did not need. And they would ask me like, are you not keeping anything for yourself? And I would answer like, I don't need anything. I really don't. Like, I just don't. They would say to me, yeah, but look how cute it is. Like, yes, it is cute. They make it cute so you want it, but you don't need it. And this is where I want to say something very important. For me, like, confidence and looking good isn't about getting a new top. Okay? There's a powerful psychological thing happening about how you present yourself within. So, like, the way you communicate, what you have to say, your gestures. I don't know. Your kind of natural presence, that's not nothing. I think you should feel good what you already own and leverage, make the most of your natural assets, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And like, clothes can support confidence, but they are not the ultimate source. It is really your natural presence. So like, you can better save for one piece of item that is maybe a little bit better quality that you really love. And because you actually value that, I don't know, that jumper or whatever it is, I think you are genuinely gonna feel better in it because of that disposability mindset that you have built, not because of you, but because of the industry, because that's what they want. Their values are, again, fast, cheap, and replaceable. And that's exactly what they want. But if you save and you invest in something that you genuinely love, I think that will actually contribute to your self-confidence. But yeah, this cycle really raised certain questions to me. Like, for example, do I really need a new top every week to feel good, to look good? Is this really about confidence or is this about FOMO? Like, is my mind and my wallet paying the price? At some point, you really wonder, like, if the company doesn't value us as employers and their own products, why should I? And if I don't value them, why the heck am I filling all my closet with them? Right? Because you don't value them. Because you go to the store and you treat them like what they are. As I said before, I'm not perfect and I don't want to make you feel guilty because I myself I'm working a lot towards knowing better, and I think that's very important for a lot of people. I don't even know if that's like, yeah, it's probably possible, but not for me at this moment. So like, before somebody tells me like, oh, but you were doing this and you do that, then no. Like, no, this is my experience about what happened in fast fashion and how, yes, I do have not very good quality clothes that I still own, but I don't buy new ones. That's something I chosen. So yeah, there's like shifts that I'm trying to learn and implement and get better. Because the truth is, like, finding affordable fashion is obviously hard because fast fashion, you need to understand fast fashion. The industry has a whole business process behind, and that's costly. So if you want to have high quality materials from local sources that reduces transportation impact, or like chemicals, toxic chemicals for dyeing the products, and all these things cost money. So if you produce them in a country with cheap labor, little regulations about environmental practices, the costs are lower for you to produce one piece of item. Whereas sustainable brands who have the full supply chain ethically planned, that brings up the cost, and therefore the item has to be higher to compensate for the cost. So these are things that I learned, and I continue to learn more about it, especially now that I study business. I'm really into the topic, but some things that maybe can help you and that have helped me is to, and that are really accessible to anyone, is, for example, repairing. Rather than, oh, this t-shirt that I really like got a little hole, just repair it. Put a cute flower or something, like really just repair. It's really nice. I've done that with multiple bags or things that get like stains that don't go away. Like, I try to put like a little cute flower, or like, it's a nice thing to do also in your free time. And there's also brands who now are in charge of or like are in this industry. I know one is Mended. It's by a girl who is really into circularity here in the Netherlands. So if you're based in the Netherlands, maybe it's interesting to you. I will leave it somewhere here. Something else that you can do is reusing and restyling. So I own 4 jumpers. Try to combine them with different pants to see how it looks, and different accessories. Try out different things. for what you already own and create different scenarios where you can wear those without needing to buy new ones. Try to buy secondhand when possible. That's something else I do. For example, I cannot buy secondhand shoes because I have feet problems. They are really wide and it's not great for you if they've been really used. Shirts, things like this, dresses, 100%. Like, it's really nice. Even accessories and bags. I buy secondhand a lot of tennis clothes. It's like nice to have. Yeah, you sweat anyways. So, and then what I started to do now, it's save up. So instead of this month, go for the last trends or whatever, I don't buy for a few months. And then whenever, okay, now I started my internship, I would like to get a few nice tops that are comfortable, casual, but a bit professional in a way. Then I'm saving money to buy something that is higher quality and has less negative environmental impact. So yeah, from certified sustainable brands. And I think that's a great, like, I really, like, you will have to try it to see how nice it is to have something that you really like, that you invested money on and looks good, and you treat it like you value it, you know? And it is an investment because right now there's businesses and you can repair it by bringing it. Maybe you have a local tailor that you can go to, and maybe I go to a local tailor and she is great. She repairs my jeans for like €6. I'm sorry, but like there's really no excuse. Like, something I want to emphasize in this video, and I hope it clicks for someone, is that looking good isn't about new clothes every month, every week, every 2 months. It's about how you show up. Consumer behavior and psychology. I want to give you some research-based facts, because it doesn't matter my experience. I also want to make you a more educated person yourself. Fast fashion thrives on FOMO, fear of missing out, and dopamine shopping. Study shows that buying new clothes triggers the brain's reward system. But you know what happens with this. The hype fades out really quickly and then you want to purchase again. In fact, the average person buys 60% more clothes than in 2000, but keeps each item for half as long. That is crazy. This is what I was talking about, that it makes clothes disposable. Like I just saw in the store, treating them as we don't care. It's just a fact. This happens. Only the fashion industry itself is responsible for global 10% carbon emission, which is more than international flights and shipping combined. It uses 93 cubic meters of water every year, enough to meet the needs of 5 million people, whereas we have people who cannot even access to water, which is a basic need. Synthetic fabrics like polyester release like 500,000 tons of microplastics into the ocean annually, which, for whoever did not know, ends up in the food chain. Because yes, that microplastic goes into the water, then the fish eats it. Not only creates damage to the fish, but guess who eats the fish? You guessed it. You. Behind cheap clothes are often underpaid workers in very unsafe conditions, and even children. The 2013 Rana Plaza collapsed in Bangladesh and killed 1,134 garment workers. A real tragic reminder of the hidden human cost of our consumption. Owing less and choosing better really reduces waste, saves money, and actually makes us feel lighter mentally. And that I spoke about in my Declare video, so if you want to check it out, it's really interesting. And there I show more research-based facts and tips about how decluttering has a huge impact on your health, mental health, and well-being. I think awareness is really powerful. You don't have to be perfect, but small shifts collectively really make an impact. Because like if everyone thinks it doesn't matter, nobody's gonna make a change. There's gonna still be demand, and where there's demand, there's supply. So don't think that you do not have an impact. You do, and small shifts in your lifestyle will make a huge difference, starting with your mindset and creating awareness. But as I mentioned before, as a business student, I do believe that governments and businesses have a huge responsibility. But we can push change with our wallets and our habits. I would love to know if you want to learn a little bit more about alternative brands for consumption, not necessarily only in fashion, can be day-to-day items as well. And I will be very happy to do my research and share what I already know. Yes, fast fashion is something that we all have experience with, so I am very curious to know, how do you approach shopping today? Do you like go for trends or invest in quality items, or like try to go vintage or repurpose outfits? how do you do it? I would love to hear what your practices are, and we can learn together and inspire each other for a better change. If you enjoy this chat, also leave a like, stick around for more, because I am really into creating a positive mindset, building an educated mind, and creating awareness and sharing. I am learning by teaching you. I am just as human as you are, but I do believe in the power of choice, in the power of being educated and having access to alternatives. So learn with me, stick around in this channel, give a like, leave a comment, and I see you in the next one.